So he said, no, 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 I don't look at porn. I don't masturbate, but he does.
Denial.
And,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then she finds out he does, and now she's pissed off.
And it's a breach of trust. Yeah.
Partly, it's mainly it's the breach of trust. The man can say, yeah, I do occasionally look at porn. He can even say, I'd be happy to show you the porn I look at if you ever want to look at it. And the woman may say, yeah, that'd be kind of hot. Or the woman may say, no, I hate that you look at porn. And you say, well, you need to know that I do occasionally.
Yeah.
Why? Aren't I enough? And I go, I love you. And I sometimes look at porn.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not if or, it's
Yeah.
and this is me and yeah.
You say, I hear that you're not, real happy about that,
Mhm.
but I am telling you the truth.
What's your take on like men expressing this level of vulnerability in their romantic relationships? Like,
You mean because red pill says don't be vulnerable?
red pill says don't be vulnerable, and I think that's a load of patootie, but there's also a time and a place for it, and there's also polarity. So what's your kind of take on how much is appropriate? I call it strategic vulnerability. It's a weird way
Right.
that I've kind of processed it myself. But how much are you opening up deep feelings, demons, thoughts with Lupita
Yeah.
versus in other safe places, and how important is that distinction? And I think that's important.
Good question. Yeah. My way of putting it is don't become her emotional tampon and don't make her your therapist. Um, yeah, I even tell my guy friends, because again, the kind of the men's programs I've been a part of, a lot of them talk about like holding space for your partner while she's doing her trauma response. And I go, wait. I'm a therapist, but I'm not my wife's therapist. And
Correct.
I'm not a trauma therapist, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, hold space while my partner is going through a trauma response. I may ground and keep myself solid, but my job is not to be there and be the punching bag,
Okay.
for her to go off on. So anyway, but back to your question about the vulnerability. Most stuff you're gonna find on the internet is pretty black and white. Do
Hmm.
this way, do that way. That's good, that's bad. Because it gets likes and looks and subscribes and
Yeah.
follows and saying something that has, a voice of reason to it or moderation or is nuanced doesn't get a lot of likes.
No, it
Right.
doesn't. People like black and white. Like, can I follow this direct rule or that
Yeah.
one?
So
Um,
be vulnerable, don't be vulnerable. Now, so I believe, here's what I teach.
mhm.
I believe for men, the vulnerability practice, I believe, is essential for us to be what I call an integrated man, to integrate all aspects of ourselves, our dark side, our light side, our spiritual side, our material side, our inner asshole, our inner, beast, our inner killer. We need a safe space to integrate all of that to where we can look at all of that and let the world see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's all pressed down and pushed away to where we're not even aware of it, we're dangerous. It's
Yeah.
going to come out one way or another.
Yeah.
So that's where I talk about the safe place with other men to do our deep work, whatever that deep work is, whether it's talking about our shame around our porn use, whether it's talking about our insecurities, whether it's talking about letting our wife walk all over us,
Yeah.
whatever it is, go find safe men to begin the process. And hopefully safe men that don't just give you advice or tell you what to do, but men that say, okay, man, I've struggled with that too. Or, you
Yeah.
sound pretty normal. Or, what would you really want to say to her if you're going to say something to her? Or where do you need to draw your line? Just where you're actually,
A
getting
safe
that
space
from
with
men.
men that can hold space and ask expansive questions versus come in and just dictate.
Yeah, tell her she better stop doing that or,
Yeah.
whatever.
I know exactly what
So
you need to do here. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
If somebody told me, Robert, you just need to leave Lupita because she's, insanely jealous, blah, blah, blah. Well, I probably wouldn't have followed that advice,
You're
even
like,
though,
the jealousy really works for me. So you don't know why
yeah, wait. You don't know about her jealousy.
you're
So, so here's the thing. I also think that my partner, my female partner should know the depths of who I am.
Yeah.
Now, I also agree with Esther Perel that she doesn't have to know every tiny detail.
No, some
And
degree is important. Yeah.
she just the way I put it is that I better not I better not be creating any illusions or any falsehoods or leading her to believe something that is not true.
Okay.
Now, for example, let's just say talk about masturbation. Um, a lot of times in relationship, a man's afraid if a woman knows he masturbates, she's
Huh?
gonna be mad, so he doesn't tell her. So he says, "No, no, no, I don't look at porn. I don't masturbate," but he does.
Denial. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then she finds out he does, and now she's pissed off.
And it's a breach of trust. Yeah.
Partly, mainly it's the breach of trust. Now, the man can say, "Yeah, I do occasionally look at porn. I do occasionally, masturbate to porn." He can even say, "I'd be happy to show you the porn I look at if you ever want to look at it." And the woman may say, "Yeah, that'd be kind of hot." Or the woman may say, "No, I hate that you look at porn." And you say, "Well, you need to know that I do occasionally."
Yeah.
"Why? Aren't I enough?" And I go, "I love you. And I sometimes look at porn." And maybe
And
no, no,
not
no
and or
justifying.
it's yeah, it's
Yeah,
not if or it's
yeah.
and this is me and yeah.
You say, I hear that you're not, real happy about that,
Mhm.
but I am telling you the truth. I do look at porn occasionally. And well, I want you to tell me every time you do. I go, "No, I'm not willing to do that. That's
Yeah. Right.
that's that's a
Boundary.
private part of my life."
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to pretend that I don't and like fool you into thinking I don't. I do. Um, Not often, but occasionally. And I'm doing a fake
Yeah. I get it.
conversation about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Hypothetically.
and
Yeah.
and she may be upset. But what I found, and I've told men this for a long time, and I found this really kind of the hard way, both as a therapist, but in a relationship, most women can handle a difficult truth.
Yeah.
They just can't handle being lied to. So tell them the difficult truth, and you can still have your privacy. Now, in terms of like the vulnerability around emotions, my first go-to person when I'm in, a state that maybe has me paralyzed or upset. Now, I might tell my wife, "Oh, yeah, I got an email from a guy yesterday that, blah, blah, blah." But I'm not upset about it. So I've got a men's group that I've had together for 7 years. In fact, we'll have a call tomorrow, 90 minutes every other week.
Yeah.
We're in it for life. It's been the same seven guys for 7 years now.
Awesome.
And yeah, they're the ones I'll get on Signal. I'll reach out to one. Can one of you guys jump on a call with me? I'll share it on my next call, whatever. And so I do that work with men first. Then whatever my wife needs to know about me in that context, I'll tell her.
Okay.
Now,
That's
an
good.
example might be, I remember
Yeah.
one situation. This has been 3 or 4 years ago. Around tax time, October, my taxes have been extended. My accountant, sends me a message and he said, and my accountant is just a total numbers nerd. I don't
Mhm.
even know if he feels emotions or not. But you don't send him to break bad news to people. He goes, "Okay, Robert, you need to cut a check to the IRS for $50,000." I'm
Yeah.
going, $50,000, and I pay my taxes every month,
Mhm.
but I still, my book royalties had gone up, so it's a
Yeah.
good problem, right?
Yeah.
So $50,000, it stressed me, right?
Sure.
I had the money in the bank. I knew I could pay it, but it stressed me.
As
And I
it
knew it
needs
was
to.
going to stress me for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I went in and told my wife right away. I said, "Listen, I just found out from my accountant I have to pay $50,000 in taxes. I've got the money, but I just want you to know I'm stressed.
Hmm.
And so don't worry, did you do anything wrong? Is there something else going on?" So I went and told her about my emotions. I didn't have to process them with her,
Hmm.
but I went and told her I was having emotions so she wouldn't go into her security seeking creature thing and go, "What? What's
Or
wrong? What'd I
misreading
do? What's
something.
that?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you're hiding it. Yeah.
she'll project the worst onto it. It's got to be something terrible. So do your deep work with men. Let your partner know the truth of who
Hmm.
you are. Let them know in any given moment if you're having a bad day or if something's up. Let her know. Just say, "It's not about you. Just I'm having a bad day. I'm probably
Yeah.
kind of grumpy. I'm kind of bitchy. Not about you." Let her know, right? She may say, "Well, do you want to process it?" No, I just wanted to tell you, just so you know, it wasn't about you. And the other thing is because I'm still not fluent in Spanish. Lupita and I speak all Spanish.
Mhm.
Um, so that kind of actually buys me a little
I was
wiggle
gonna say, does
room.
that help you a little bit? Because you're like, wow, I
It,
don't really know
it,
how to explain it
it,
anyways.
it buys a little wiggle room that I don't have to go into the deepest, darkest,
No entiendo.
I like the word ineffable. Ineffable is something that can't be described with words.
Yeah.
Well, there's things I don't have Spanish words to describe,
Great.
right?
I
I
like
can just say, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm
maybe we should
glad.
all have our arguments in another language and then
You know, that ironically, I said this for years that Lupita and I actually resolve problems better than any other partner I've been with, mainly because we couldn't use so many words.
okay, so you just
We had to use
clear,
basic
simple,
words.
kind.
What
Yeah.
what's the most basic word we can find to communicate what's happening here? So
Yeah.
yeah, there's benefit. So have your guys, you do your deep work with, come home from doing that. Like my second wife, I'd come home from the men's group I was in, and she'd want to go sit down on the bed. Okay, tell me, what did you do in your men's group? And being a nice guy at that time, I'd go blow by blow, whatever I talked about, what I talked about. Well, did you bring this up? Did you talk about that?
Oh, now
And
it's too much. Yeah.
I got to the point of, I came home one time and said, listen, I'm doing my work
Mhm.
and I'm going to share with you what some of that work is, but I'm going to decide when I share it, how I share it, how much I share it. So I'm not going to come home and give you a blow by blow
Big
like I'm some
debrief.
obedient child that tells you everything I did while I was out of your sight.
Did you do
But
your homework?
so, and then when I did share something with her, like maybe later that day or a week
Mm.
later, I shared it because I really wanted to share it and really wanted her to know that about me. I said, here's something that I really got in touch with this week, and I would share it with her. But I had my time around processing it first, not just to give it to her. Now,
So
again,
men get the rawness and the details, and women get the high level summary.
get the highlight, and it's okay if they see you have emotion. Like
Course.
my wife and I, we talk about Nala almost daily of how much it's going to break our hearts when she's not here.
Oh,
We
yeah,
just had that I mean, she'll be 5 in May, so hopefully she'll be around a while. But
yeah,
Dr. David Snarch wrote a great book called Passionate Marriage. In that book, he says, in every relationship, somebody's going to get left.
yeah,
And that's true. That's the impermanence of Buddhism,
yeah.
that nothing is forever. So I promise you, Lupita and I were just talking yesterday. We're sitting out back, and I said, when Nala's not with us anymore, we're going to sit out back and talk about how she always had in her she has her own lawn chair out back. It's been her lawn chair ever since she came into our life. That's the only piece of furniture she can get on. We'll talk about how she got in that chair, how she's wearing a jacket right now to keep her
She's just
warm.
walking past you there on
Just
the other
walking
side.
past her, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, she's wearing her little sweater. Um,
Well,
and,
even though you're over there, it still is winter for you.
this is winter. It's
Yeah,
probably low 70s right now, but
yeah.
she doesn't have a lot of hair, so
She's
she
cute
gets
'cause she's
cold.
a pity, but she looks like she's got a little staffy face.
She's a pit bull Staffordshire, yeah.
Yeah, so the
Pit
same
bull
as
blue.
mine. Mine's short hair like yours, but
Yeah.
camel colored and same stature. Very cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very short, chaparrita, short
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
So I know my wife is going to see me sobbing regularly
Yeah,
if indeed something happens to Nala. My mother will be 90 in May.
yeah.
And
Stuff's coming.
odds are she's going to go before me. I don't know. I mean, she lost a husband and two of her children all in an 11-month period about 12 years ago. So she's outlived. I teased my mother. I said, Mom, you have more living direct relatives than I do. She was one of 10 kids. I told her that when she still had three
One
siblings
of 10
alive.
kids, whole eat macaroni.
She had three siblings alive, still having two kids alive, and four grandkids, several great grandkids. And I said, Mom, all I've got left living is a mother and a sister and a son. You've got more living relatives than
Yeah,
I do, and you're pushing 90. But she is going to probably go before I do. I don't know, but it could. My wife will see me cry when my
yeah.
mother passes. I mean, just I didn't talk to my mother for 15
No,
years,
there will be rawness
but
and stuff will pour out, and
and it's okay if my
that's
woman
okay.
sees those feelings.
Yeah, and she'll be
And
closer to you too, right?
she will. Women always say that. Oh, I feel so much closer to you.
Yeah, closer
So,
to you, and then she won't have sex with you for like a week, and then you.
well, she will do that anyway, no matter what.